Good day, everyone. I trust we are all doing great. Today we'll be looking at Mark chapter 4, and this chapter, I think it's basically talking about the parable of Christ to the people. And I think it started from the parable of the sower to the seed, the mustard seed, and how Christ calmed the storm. So, from the parable of the sower, he said, the sower went out to sow, but on his way, some seed fell on the rock. The seed did sprang up, but was later crushed down because it had no roots. Another fell by the roadside. He said at once it sprang up, but was scorched by the sun because it had no root also. He said some fell by the thorns, but as soon as they start to grow, they got choked up by the thorns. But some fell on fertile soil. He said, they yielded fruits. The disciples, they were not able to comprehend this parable, so they went back to Christ for more understanding about the parable. And I think this is where our personal relationship with Christ comes in, our devotional life with Him. This is where it comes in. We need to develop this very good, intimate relationship with God, so that it would help us to understand more about Him. And I love the way Christ responded to them. He gave them the explanation of the word, of the parable, and he also told them that this secret of the kingdom of God is readily available to you. It's available to be understood by you and not for others. And yes, about this secret of the kingdom of God, I personally feel like it is readily available to all humans on earth. We just need to show interest. And how do we show interest in this secret or the mystery of God? It is through the fear of God. We know there is this chapter of the psalmist that said the mystery of God will be made known to those who fear Him. And we know fearing Him only comes by believing in Him. So I think that is why Christ said it was available to be understood by us. So the moment unbeliever shows interest by fearing God and believing in Him, even these secrets will be made known to them. So I think this is where we have to try to win more souls for Christ, so that a lot of people will know about this mystery, this secret of the kingdom of God, so people will not perish. Yes, the verse went on, but the 20th verse really struck me. He said, and those sown on the good, well-adapted soil are the ones who hear the word and receive and accept and welcome it and bear fruit. Some 30 times as much as was sown, some 60 times as much, and some even 100 times as much. Meaning that if you surely have received the word with an open heart, and you let this word find expression in you, that you let this word find roots in you, then you definitely need to be fruitful. It's now a must. It's a compulsion that you are fruitful, because that's the only proof that you've really accepted the word. And I think someone might probably be thinking that how about this tough situation and all of that? How can I still be fruitful despite this difficult situation I'm going through? Yes, of course you can be fruitful. And how can you be fruitful? You can be fruitful in numerous ways, but I would talk about one example. When you express joy even in storms, when you express this patience in storms, in difficult situations, it's also a sign of fruitfulness. Because when people sees you and they see how you retain your joy, their faith is also stirred up, and that's a means of you being fruitful. And then he said, some 30-fold, some 60-fold, some 100-fold, meaning that the more seed of the word you sow into you, the more or the greater your harvest will be, the more fruitful you will become. And then the verse went on. I think the 25th verse is quite interesting. It said, for whosoever has a teachable heart So him more understanding will be given. And whosoever does not have a yearning for truth, or does not have a heart yearning for truth, even what he has will be taken away from him. Meaning that we have to have this teachable spirit and an open heart, a heart that yearns to know more about him. Meaning that we just have to go back to the study, and we have to do it very consistently. It's not a one day on, one day off thing. We just have to be consistent with it, and we have to have this teachable spirit, because once we relent on what we know already, he said that you know, even that you know will be taken away from you. So I think this is just to like propel us to giving more time into the study of the word, learning more about the word of the Lord. Be humble enough to want to learn more about the kingdom of the Lord. Then he talked about the parable of the seed. He described the kingdom of God like a man trying to sow a seed, and how it grows he doesn't understand. And I think this fully explains my point of us showing interest to know the secret. The moment we show the interest to know the secret, God will give us the understanding to comprehend the word, and it will also help us to be fruitful. We just need to show interest in it and just leave everything else to God. He would surely make us understand it, because yes, he's such a loving father and he will do just that. So he went on to talk about the parable of the mustard seed, and I think yet again it's this interesting again. We need to show interest, and the moment we start showing interest, we'll grow in knowledge. The Bible said once it grows even larger than other plants, and then serves as an habitation for birds. Meaning that as we grow, as we become more fruitful, we are meant to serve people, be kind to people, help people. He has raised us up to raise more people. He has lifted us up to lift people up. So as much as he as we grow fruitful in the word, we have to learn how to dispense our knowledge to others too. So then, to the miracle of calming the storm, I think first of all, Christ sleeping in the midst of a storm is just to tell us to always find rest, even in difficult situations. Learn how to find rest. Learn how to put your trust in God. And then, the fact that you are going through hard time does not erase the fact that God is with you. Sometimes we tend to think God has forsaken us, but no, he hasn't, and he would not forsake us. Let's always move with this confidence that he is always by our side. If only the disciple had this confidence in them, they would have actually be able to like calm the storm even by themselves, but they didn't. So I think this is just to tell us that we really need to show or believe or walk in the consciousness that he is right by our side. And yes, when we walk in this confidence, our faith will be stirred up, and we know faith is a very crucial thing in demonstrating this power that Christ has given unto us. So once our faith is stirred up, we can therefore go and rebuke the storm even by ourselves, because yes, he said he has given us power. He has given us the power to do so, and he sure said greater things shall we do, didn't he? Yes, he did. So I just hope we dwell more in the word, learn how to accept the word, have a teachable spirit, and leave the rest to God. He would help us to understand more about him, and then we'll be able to walk in his power, in his in everything. That's all.